Now, next up, we have Julio and Yasser from Peralta Coffee, Nicaragua. Please come to the stage when you're ready.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shells and kicked in my face, but I've come through. We go on, we are the champions,
my friend.
Thank you, Julio.
Anyways, it was great to be here. Great to be here.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Julio and Yasser. I know that for Yasser, it's his first time in Japan. How is Japan for you?
Sí, buenas. Mucho gusto. Bueno, pues viajar a Japón era un sueño, ¿verdad? Primera vez acá en Japón, la comida es muy deliciosa, la gente muy amable, se sienten en familia, es muy elegante, muy bonito y muy agradecido con todo.
So I know, Julio, you've been to Japan a few times.
Yeah.
Where will you take Yasser this time?
Well, we're just gonna go, I guess, to go to Shibuya, and then what? Yeah, Uniqlo too. Okay. Anyway, you didn't ask me about the song, but
Sorry. Tell us about the song.
no, the song is more. It's actually it's a reflection of what we do in coffee. It's perseverance. It's not claiming victory over anything, because this is not a contest. It is. I think all of you are familiar with some of the lyrics of this song. It's about getting up, after every obstacle, and this is what it is. So yeah, I dedicate this song to all of you that make coffee possible.
Thank you. Yeah, please go to the podium.
Just remind you
Okay. Konnichiwa. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Distinguished guests, the Típica team, and participants from all coffee corners gather here today for this unprecedented event. Thank you, Ayan, Masa, Ayumi, and all the Típica team for making this possible. It feels good to be back in Japan after, I think, 6 years. Okay. I'm Julio Peralta. I represent the group of farms belonging to the Peralta family. Our great-grandfather, Jose Peralta, began growing coffee around 1918 when he purchased a plot of land in the municipality of Dipilto, Nueva Segovia, in Nicaragua. The plot of land was named La Argentina, and which is currently a 74-hectare farm, property of my father. Coffee has been part of my life ever since I can remember. As a boy, I thought coffee was the only occupation people had. At the dinner table, the conversations between my grandfather and father were always about what to do next on the farms, coffee prices, and how many workers were needed for the following week. The words pergamino, patios de secado, trillado, yields, inputs, nurseries, and of course, if that year turned a profit or not, were all part of our basic concepts growing up. All kids knew when our families had a good year or a bad one. During the school summer break, harvest was a lot of fun. riding on the back of the trucks to collect the wet parchment daily to deliver it to the dry mills. Our leisure activities happen around the farms and the drying patios, the warehouses. As I got older, 9 or 10 years old, I learned how to drive, which made it even more fun, as I got to drive the truck every day going up to the farm until I crashed one day. Anyway, okay, Nicaragua, for the ones who don't know, the country is, okay, that's, those are my, it's right there in between our friends from Costa Rica and Honduran, and also sharing maritime borders with El Salvador. Our farms are in the municipality of Departamento de Nueva Segovia, which is a mountain range bordering with Honduras, right there on the red line between Nicaragua and Honduras. La Argentina is in Dipilto, also La Cascada. Las Golondrinas is in the municipality of Mozonte, and Santa Maria de Lourdes and El Bosque in San Fernando. All these farms run on hydroelectric generators, and we have eco-friendly wet mills, Penagos and Pinalense. Nueva Segovia is not the largest coffee region of Nicaragua. However, it is the coffee produced in this region that has gained recognition among specialty coffee buyers. Most first places and presidential awards of the Cup of Excellence competitions have been awarded from these farms in the Cordillera of Dipilto and Jalapa. All of our farms have at least once been winners and of that competition, and Las Golondrinas, that belongs to my cousins Marcio, Salvador, and Blanca, have won the #1 Cup of Excellence twice. It's the only farm that has made it twice. That's one of the pools to collect the water for the generators. Anyway, recent history. Unfortunately, our country's political history hasn't been the most stable one. During my life, my family had to flee our country twice. The first time, when I was 14 years old in 1981, I had to move to the United States, where I grew up and went to college, and finally returning in the 90s. Then again, in 2018, we had to go, and I had to take my family out to live in the United States because of the civil unrest of April 2018. But again, coffee is no stranger to conflicts, revolutions, civil wars. I think we have it all in our genes. But we say in coffee farmers are resilient, are the most resilient people on earth, coming back yearly regardless of adversities. Producing coffee has always been challenging. Weather events, international prices, political turmoil, disease, etc., have made a year cycle better or worse. We can't do much to control the weather and politics. However, we can make decisions on how to make coffee production sustainable and face the challenges ahead. It's been a long journey since the days we delivered our coffee to the local exporters, hoping to get a 5 cents quality premium over New York. We knew nothing about cupping and markets, let alone who the coffee was sold to and at what price. All we hoped for was for the New York prices to be favorable to us, and hopefully we would be able to make a profit. To give you an idea of what happened in the last 22 years in the New York market, the yearly average closing price has reached 140 cents for 6 years, between 2000 and 2022. During the 2002, coffee bottomed to 54 cents a pound, and prices remained below $1 and close to $1 for a decade. With the current cost of production, it would be impossible to be in coffee, to make it sustainable. It was then that we decided to change our ways. We could not continue growing coffee as a commodity, concentrating on high yields per hectare and increasing negative environmental impact, hoping for favorable New York futures prices, as it would be impossible to withstand the long periods of unfavorable prices while delivering our coffees to the large exporters. Quality differentiation was the only way to add value to our coffee, and establishing commercial relationship with our clients was the next step. So we began planting new varieties and experimenting with processing methods that have allowed us to access the specialty coffee market with with more favorable prices conditions, and most notably, establishing long-standing relationship with our customers. It feels good to see your faces and meet the people who, with great craft and dedication, make it possible for our farms and our country to be on the label of one of your products. Thank you. Our coffee is no longer valued as a Nicaraguan SHGP with a good cup, but rather a specific lot with unique cup characteristics from each of our farms. It hasn't been easy, as we have not always made the right decisions regarding varieties and processing methods. Unfortunately, in coffee, it takes years to correct mistakes. But when we are accustomed to regrouping and doing things better for the next time around. Climate change, production cost, and lack of laborers are our next significant hurdles. Fertilizer and our inputs have gone up 100% and more. Ocean freight costs have increased considerably, which inevitably will change the entire cost structure of your products. The massive immigration of the last few years has reduced the workers significantly, not to mention that the new generations don't want to work on a coffee farm. On our end, and I think it's the same with lots of farmers in Central America, we are struggling to farm laborers during the cultivation period and harvesting, forcing us to be efficient in everything we do. Moving forward, we must find ways to make coffee farming sustainable. We have to produce coffee, preserving our forest areas and water sources, nurturing our soils rather than depleting them, and most importantly, thinking of ourselves as guests, not owners of the land, to continue producing good quality coffee for generations to come. The entire world is facing new challenges: wars, inflation, currency distortions, etc. And we all must come together to find ways of working closely to give coffee a chance. Collaboration is the name of the game. And fortunately, we are gathered here to address these issues and strengthen our ties. I dedicate the lyrics of this song that you just heard to the people that make coffee possible every day. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you, Julio. Now, please raise your hand if you have any questions or comments for Julio.
Thank you very much, Julio, for your great presentation. I have a question because the problem of immigration is one problem that we in Latin America face in all our countries. What is your vision? How can we keep younger, small producers that are, in average, older people, trying to keep their sons or their family in the place, but also producing coffee?
Well, I think first, we have to give coffee a chance, and that is making a livelihood for the people, and that is changing the way coffee is produced. It's adding value. It's making for all those families, giving them a possibility to have access to markets, to have access to knowledge, how to do things better, and that way there's no despair. There's no the younger generations can see a future in coffee. What's happened is the contrary. People don't see a future in coffee, and they seek to find other means, and especially with all the situation worldwide, people, immigration is the solution sometimes.
Thank you, Julio. A round of applause for Julio.
All right.